We're taking a look at Smart EQ 3 by Sonible. Smart EQ 3 is an intelligent EQ system that removes perceived incorrect resonance from your tracks. But it goes a little bit deeper than that. Let's take a look at the controls. At the top, we have what's called Join Group, and we'll get to that a little later. You have the capture button, you have the profiles, all right, and you can also create and save your own profiles. You have a number of save states if you want to compare between different processing. Your presets you save here, undo, redo, settings menu. Down here is where the main portion of what you're doing will be adjusted. So we have zoom. You want to go up and down on the decibel range. You have a built-in analyzer, and then your in and out meters. Down here at the bottom, your bypass, where you can bypass everything. You can do it just by the filter or by EQ bands. Same scenario with the reset, by filter or by EQ bands. Here is where you will modify the actual EQ band. So if I turn one of these on in the conventional EQ way, this is where you can change the type of EQ by right clicking. All right, you have a number of those that you can modify. Of course, the frequency, the decibel, the Q factor, whether or not you're in stereo, mid or side mode. You can solo the EQ band, and of course you can delete the filter itself. Here we can adjust the balance between the mid and the side. 50-50 is your typical stereo. You can also go in here and modify the side panning. All right, this is a resizable plugin by clicking and dragging from here. And then the EQ bands are actually separate from the smart function that the plugin offers. So in order to see that, we are going to capture our kick drum here. I've already selected the profile for kick. So I'm going to hit the capture button and we're going to play our composition. All right, so now that we have the kick drum captured, we're now shown the weighting curve that is available as a result of our capture. This is where you do the adjusting for the AI results. And so you can, of course, adjust it up and down. You can scroll the mouse wheel for the width. Same for the slope, scroll the mouse wheel. All right. You can also grab these and do just one side. And then down here, you can't change the type here, but you can add an additional modifier here, which allows you to split it between high and low. You have the ability for the curve itself to be dynamic rather than just static. So for instance, if you have material that has various frequencies in it, but not all playing at the same time, then the offending frequencies can be filtered while the unoffending ones will be untouched. All right, so what we're going to do at this point is I have about 12 audio tracks of just music. I'm going to capture each one of these, and then we'll see what the result is for everything. All right, we have everything captured now. So before we get into the additional tracks, let me do a before and after of the kick drum so we at least know what that has done to this. Not a big change, right? You can see the curve. It's reduced some of the low end, boosted a little bit up here around 2K, 1K, all right, and a little bit in between 2 and 5. So it took some of that tackiness that was on the very top of the kick and reduced that. So again, this is about cleaning some of the resonance or some of the problem frequencies and sounds to get them to sound more natural. All right, so we have kick, we have snare, we have clap, we have tom, we have overhead, bass, guitar, Rhodes, and 2 strings. All right, that is what we are applying this to. So now I will play bypassed. And then here's after. And then we'll switch back and forth. So you should be able to hear how more natural the sounds themselves got. Like the harshness, especially you can hear it in the clap and the snare. Hear how much more harsher that was. So it brought it to a more natural sound. So let's take a look at that. So this is what it did to the snare, right? It removed some of the low resonance down here and kind of boosted. So you can see basically what has happened. Now, one of the things that you can do is if the results, of course, is not exactly how you want it, you can always adjust this and do just the opposite, right? But one of the other things that you can do, of course, is you have the ability to add EQ curves in here, and you can see how it's affecting the actual sound itself. All right, so it looks to be about 24 different points for the EQ addition. And the thing is you can then save that curve, and I'll show you that here. You can modify the curve, right? And then you can actually go in and save your curve as snare 2. And this will come up as a custom profile, right? So now I have my own profile set in here. All right, so the other thing that is awesome with this is the join group or the group option. So you click join group, you create a new group. So you have 3 different layers. This first layer is the lead layer. The second layer is the support layer, and layer 3 is the background layer. So you can kind of get sort of I don't want to say a mix, but this helps to balance out the frequency masking between your tracks, right? But you can only do up to 6 per group. So I've already got a group set up. So I'm going to close this one out and we go here. So I have a drum group set up already. So snare drum, clap, those are in the lead. Overheads, toms, those are the support. And the hi-hat is in the background. Now, what I'm missing here is my kick drum, and we're going to put that in the lead. All right, so that's a total of 6. Now, we can't add any additional ones because the group, tells you here the group is full. So essentially what you do is you read these by capturing the same way you did the individual one. And so we'll let it play. And right now we're doing just the drums. All right, so it has captured everything. It's still taking its time with the tom because it's only in one spot. So let me play that a few times. All right, so now it has captured everything. So right now it's off. We can't hear what it's doing just yet, right? And that's just the group function, because if I close this out, the actual plugin itself, right, it's still on. It's still activated, but and its effects are still modifying the frequency spectrum of whatever track you have it on. So now let's turn this group function on. And then let's turn the group impact up. So you hear how the tone has changed based off of how we have these layers. So now let's say we move the snare to layer 2. It no longer sounds the same. To the background. All right. So we can also turn that impact down. And let's bypass. Now that's what everything bypassed. Now this is just a group bypass here, right? This here is the group bypass as well as the independent plugins. All right, let's take a listen at what we got for the music. All right. All right, so we got another sound that's only in a certain spot. All right, so now we have everything captured. All right, here's just the music. Pull this down. All right, so listen to that beginning. So not a whole big change there, right? Let's bypass all. So we kind of, I guess you could say it's kind of set exactly how I want it. Frequency wise, these things don't really share a whole lot within them for there to be a lot of clashing, because we pretty much got things. We got bass, we got Rose that's kind of in the middle. The horns is not in there that much. The strings are high, and we have stabs. So things are kind of like in their own space here. So it's not a whole lot that's going on. But let us take a listen at the entire thing, and we'll do a full bypass. This includes the group function as well, right? So we'll start with it off. Yes, this thing is amazing. This is essentially a unmasking, EQ carving, clarity and depth tool, Smart EQ 3. If you're interested in getting your copy of this, you'll find the link in the description, and I'll see you on the next video.